It's the river police. Oh my god. So I quickly put the camera down. So here we are again, boys and girls. We're just fishing on the river. Oh, let's put the camera there. I'll put it on me for a bit. It's just started raining, so I just put up the brolly. And fishing my usual sort of area. And we're getting a bit of current, a bit of, just check the battery there. Seems a good battery, seems to be going down a bit more in this cold weather. Not a lot of wind. Now we're getting towards the bottom half of the ebb on the tide, so there's a bit more pull in the current, which is good. Water's cleared up a little bit, it's not so cloudy. 12-pound line, and we're using herrings with a head chopped off, like a half a herring on each rod. One's off that bank and one's out in the middle up that way a bit. I don't think it really makes too much difference where you put them. And you can see the rain's coming down a bit. It's always, this brolly's a good thing. And yeah, with regards to striking the pike, you want to strike as early as you can. So usually, from what I hear, is when a pike takes and lines coming from your spool and he's running off, right? He's running off. The time to strike is when he stops. That's what I'm told. All right. So you know, you've got to sort of visualise. He picks up the bait, and they usually move off with it, a couple of meters, 3 meters, something like that. And then around about that time, at the end of the day, you know, they've got this. If you're fishing 2 trebles on a dead bait, the chances of him, his mouth being over one of the trebles or near one of the trebles is quite high. So I wouldn't be frightened of striking too early. So what I usually do, if I get a take, I'll pick up the rod and I'll release the bail arm and I'll just hold the line and I'll feel for the pike taking the line out of my fingers. And once he'll be taking it, and once he stops, I'll flip the bail arm back over. The drag's already set reasonably how you want it, and then literally strike firmly. And that's it. And if you wanted to do like, if for some reason you weren't happy with that strike, you can possibly do another lighter sort of strike. So it's a strike and then another one, if you like, just to try and set the hooks. I fish barbless hooks, so just a word of warning about using barbless: you must keep pressure on the fish. Okay, you want the drag set so if it's a big fish it can go, but you also want the drag set in a way that it's tight enough that you can, the barbless hooks can drop out when you lower the rod. You don't need to lower the rod. Keep the rod, keep pressure on the fish, and just wind. If you can get line, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. Barbless hooks, because if you haven't struck it that well, or whatever reason, they can just literally fall out, and the pike can just shake its head, and they'll just come clear. So, just a word of warning with you about if you're fishing barbless hooks, you must keep pressure on. Once you've struck the fish, you've got to keep pressure on the fish, a lot of pressure. And also, bearing in mind, you don't put too much pressure that you don't break your own gear and stuff. So there's fine lines between doing it all right and getting it right. There really is. And you learn it through doing it. You make mistakes and you learn it through doing it. So I'm just giving you a sort of a heads up there. That's how I approach it. But I'm sure there's 1 million of you out there who would say it slightly differently or whatever. But you know, that's how I've learned how to do it. And usually best times for a pike, I find, it's that last hour of the day. And as for fishing for pike at night, for me, waste of time. during the day only. I'm sure some of you have caught pike at night, but I never have. I always get them during the day. I find the last hour, and it's worth fishing up till it gets dark. I've had them in the dark. If you look at my videos, you'll see some of my pike have actually been filmed when it's night time, but they've literally just come right at the end. So, and obviously early morning if you can get up in time. Right, got to save my battery. Hopefully we'll be back with a big one. So there he is. Lovely conditioned fish. There's nice 8 pound or so. Okay. Right. Nice pike of about 8 pounds or so. There. Nice fish. Very nice. Okay, let's put it back. He's away. He's away. Flew away. Flew away. Well, you wouldn't know it's Sunday fishing. The other person's just rocked up. Float out there. Funny enough, he started using a spinner first, and then, like within, I don't know, 30 seconds, a dead bait appeared, went flying in the water. Like, wouldn't you just turn up and just do dead baiting? You know, one or the other. I don't know, each of their own. Yeah, there's a boat going out there. It's a Sunday, and someone's going to go out, and a couple going out in a boat. Yeah. Usually in the winter time, you don't get anybody on these boats because of the coronavirus thing. People can't really go abroad too easily. People are sort of going on the little boats, which, as an angler, can be a good thing and a bad thing. They can get in the way of your gear and your line, and a lot of them can't drive. You don't need a boat license or anything. They're just, you know, it's just they can't even tie up the bloody thing. They barely know how to turn the thing on, but yet they let them do it. So you really do have to keep an eye on your rods that they don't crash into your bloody crash into your gear, damage all your bloody rods. On this side, right in front of me. See, a lot of these boat people, they're not very experienced. They won't even see these floats. So That wouldn't surprise me if he'd come crashing into these floats here.
Something happened.
Something happened.
What's been on about?
John, not a monster, I don't think. But sometimes I don't even know they're hooked. I would have expected a big lunge by now. So that's why we just set the drag. Right, it's not a big one. The water's nothing, so don't have to noise. See that very well. Not a biggie, but it's still a nice fish. It's still a nice fish. Go. Oh, £7, something like that probably. Nice fish. Really nice fish. There you go. Whole herring. One other dead bait left. No problems. No problems. It's not too bad. Nice pike. Look at that. Nice condition pike. Whole herring. This is the rig. Smelt. Top hook in the tail. You see there, a bit of weed on there, doesn't matter. Then he's just in the body there. Wire. Got my old rast float. I've got a bead and obviously stop knot above. I always overset it. Probably. Hello people, we're back again in the new year. We're under the brolly again. As you can see, it's January and it's blowing a hoodly, it's raining. It's not been very warm at all. It's a little bit warmer today, but it's nice and dull and overcast. Look, the water is murky. We've had a lot of rain and it's been probably 6 days after the flood, something like that, 5 days after the main sort of flood, and the water is very, very murky. This is the first time I've been out since Christmas, really, and the holidays and the festive celebrations, and we're back on the river. So when it's murky like this, I'm still confident. Why? Because I've had them before, and we're dead baiting again. We're using whole herring, fresh whole herring, well frozen, but they're thawed them out, put them on biggish hooks, and we've got one in the middle of the river and I've got one on the far side, and I'm not using any leads or anything with them. They're just their own weight, just caught on the bottom. There's a bit of flow. I'd like to see a little bit more flow, but there's a bit of flow. I haven't checked the tides or whatever they're doing, but I'm just watching the odd leaf on there, and there's definite movement there. So when you're on one of these sort of tidal rivers and you've got flow, you're in with a shout. Things which can prevent flow is if you get a lot of, from where I live, a lot of northerly winds, and they sort of push the tides and backs it all up, and sometimes you can turn up and there's just no flow at all, and that coincides with a blank virtually always. So if you've got flow, the pike are sort of obviously having to work a bit, and your bait, your scent, your oils and your fish are drifting downstream. So there you are. There's the science of it. So we're just going to stick it out. This is only a short session. This is only a 4-hour session. I personally believe if you don't get a run on a dead bait inside 2 hours, I think it's you might as well up sticks and move 50 yards either to the left or the right wherever you're fishing, to be brutally honest. That's based on my experiences of when I get my runs, and usually you either get them straight away or you get them after about an hour and a half, or sort of on the 2-hour mark, and then after that, usually if you can't get them inside that time frame, usually you end up blanking the entire session. If you're there all day, you won't get anything all day. And obviously as the light goes is a good time, virtually into dark, and obviously early mornings as well when it's nice and quiet. And I think the quieter the river is, boats, people, canoes, sups, rowboats, pike boats, you name it, the quieter it is, the better. That's my experience anyway. But there you go, so that's my little sort of my tips, whether you want to listen to them or not. We'll try and get another fish on there for you, and we'll go from there. Righty ho.
The size of this one. Look at the size of that. Look at the size of him. He's absolutely huge. Let's get this gear out of it. Right, stop, won't you? absolute monster. Oh, how big he is. Try and get out of there. Inches. There you go, people. I'd say it's about £20, right, 18, £20, something like that. They're 40 inches long. Yeah. Back soon, this one. Absolute beauty. Absolute beauty. A while. One of my biggest pike, I'd say. One of my biggest. 40 inches long. Right, he's got to go back. He's got to go back. Right. What about that then? Wow. Wow, wee. I was just then deciding to go home, and I still got a bait out there. Fuck me. And I went to wind it in to snip it off to go home, He was on there, didn't even know he was on. He must have just grabbed it, the hook. He was just caught in the corner of the mouth. I didn't think he was as big as that. I thought he was probably about sort of, maybe just a double, but I got 40 inches on the tape. Typical me, don't bring any scales because I never think I'm going to catch anything good. And I got him over 40 inches. He was the length of this, so his tail was right in the corner here, so there was nose to there, so he's got to be, that's definitely 20 pounder. That could even be a 25, I don't know. That was a decent fish. I've got 44 inches to there. In fact, he's sat in there easy. He's 40, I'd say he's about 43, 44 inches, so he felt like he's possibly a 20, definitely 18, definitely 20, he could even be 25. I've had fish to 25 before, years ago, about 18 years ago. That's sort of a specimen fish. I've got to wind this other rod in. And wow, sat here, I sat here all day, you know, thinking I wasn't going to get anything until towards the hard water here. But wow, it's still here. Monster, absolute monster. Over the moon, over the moon. Rightio, hopefully that came out alright. If it didn't, I'm going to shoot myself, I think. Anyway, take care guys. Please subscribe to the channel. Every once in a while, dreams do come true. Absolutely over the moon, absolutely over the moon. And yeah, it sort of makes up for a lot of trips where you do blank, and you do, every once in a while you do get a surprise. And also you're aware that a lot of anglers do keep things to themselves, and it doesn't always get on the internet. But wow, over the moon, over the moon. Thanks guys, see you soon.
It's ever so easy to erect. It's got a lovely ground there. Just thrust it in, and that's it. Keep it quite low so it doesn't waft around in the wind too much. And if it's a windy day, you've got some little, you know, you can tie. The stitching's brilliant on this. Absolutely brilliant. This is actually quite an expensive brolly. It's even got a little, put your rods in. Look, put a guy rope, fix a guy rope to it. So you know you can spend lots of money on these bivvies, but you know, if you're just a day fisherman, you know, I cannot emphasize how good just the standard brolly is. But this is actually a really good quality brolly. You just look at the stitching of it. Absolutely superb. Yeah, that is just a heron. Sneak up on him. Something's happening. Something's happening. Something's happening. Fish on. Reasonable. Reasonable. He's not big, but
Could be 10. Could be 12. Good fish. Good fish. He's about maybe 14, something like that. Let's get the net. Get that. Oh, yeah. Let's get the hook out first.
36.5 inches there.
There's Pike there. He's about, he could be 12, 14 pounds or so. It's not a heron. Still over there, look. So anyway, so we've just rigged up two. So we've got one that's drifted a little bit, but fish on. For that, they're not long. Don't know what we got. Quite deep here. Not fed off yet, but he's not coming in. He's coming in very slowly. Might be quite a good fish. Quite a good fish. Not a monster, I don't think, but that's not a baby. Fuck, that bait was bloody frozen. That was bloody frozen. Oh, he's not that big. Good start though. I might just try next. I want that dead bait. dead bait. Yes, I have. Bad start. That's not a bad start. Tell you what, it's, that's not a bad start. Look at this. Hooks are out. That's a nice solid fish. That's a nice solid fish. I'm just going to measure the length of him. It's quite a stocky fish. Full of beans. Full of beans. No, I know. No, of course he's full of beans, this one. God. God. There we go. Mud on him or what? 30 inches. 30 inches. That's a nice fish. Look at that. Right, back he goes. Hello people, how you doing? I'm just fishing a small river today, Pike. I just turned up, just rigged up, just chucked it out, and unfortunately I got the sun coming this way. It's not very good for filming, but I'll just show you. So this is the little river I'm fishing, and all quiet on the western front. Oh so quiet, oh so quiet, oh so quiet. Yeah, so I mean obviously I'm in a really good mood right now because on Tuesday, 2 days ago now, I hooked and landed a 24-pound pike. From looking back over the years, it is actually a big river pike. Sorry, a big river location where over the years people have, you know, got some big fish, so it doesn't surprise me. My float has just gone for a walk. That's moved about 2 or 3 foot. So either it's come free from the bottom, it's not twitching or anything, it's just staying there now. So that's looks like that's just tumbled. So I'm just going to give it a lob out the other side there and try and sort of land in that area where the current is not so strong. So I'm just going to, yeah, I've not casted this rod a long time. I always find if you're picking up an old rod or a longer rod than what you have been using, that's quite tricky to sort of to get it right first time. But what we got. I'll try that. Try it there. See if it'll hold. So we're looking for it just to find a bit of weed on the bottom where it will just anchor in. But I've got a sneak suspicion that's going to tumble. These small little rivers, you know, if you hadn't had anything within an hour sort of thing, I'd just move spots. You know, see, in a river, the pike have got to really be in sort of feed mode quite a lot, because they have to work quite hard in the current all the time. We're quiet on the western front. So now I've got a spare rod and reel. Now I could rig up. I could rig up. Oh, this has been shit. But
like I say, it's not the be all and end all. If you do blank, that's not the be all and end all. Every time you go, you learn something. And from this, if we don't catch anything, you say, well, I ain't fucking coming there anymore. So it ticks that one off. Probably say that even if I catch something. So yeah, I'm sort of a little bit dry sometimes. Winter mist. Winter mist forming on the old river. Slightly better pike. £8, I'd say. And mummy. Okay. Put it back. Let's put it back. Cracking little weeds over there. It's getting spookier. So here we are, this is the swim. And it's virtually gone. Caught in my line. That sodler. Son of a bitch. They nick all the fish. Them and cormorants. Goddamn heron. Hello everybody. So I've just decided today to have a little bit of a break from fishing, and I've just pulled up to an old spot where we used to go years ago, and it's flooded. I don't think you can see that very well, it's flooded. And I've just turned to my left, and you look at this gate here, right, I can see a bloody pike lure hanging up on the gate. Now I've not got out of my car yet, or looked at it, but that looked quite a good lure. Looks like someone's either got it tangled up in the dark, or someone who looks after the grounds here has found it and has just hung it over the gate for someone to pick up. Look, there's even a wire on it, so I'm going to try and retrieve that in a minute, and that looks like fire tiger colour. And that's sort of, you decide not to go fishing and you just go somewhere to have a look, and you find, I mean, that lure's probably worth about bloody 12 quid or something. That's just sitting there. Someone right now could even come along and pinch it before me, but that's how chilled out I am right now. Anyway, I just had to let you know that one. Isn't that strange? Which is where I usually put it, on the other side there, just a couple of metres off the island. And the line's on the bottom. A little bit of current there, but the line's on the bottom, so if any boats come past, we shouldn't have to move any of them. So we can just relax now and just sit it out with that bloody sneaky heron. I've got another smelt there, and I've got a mackerel, sort of a half a mackerel left there, but on this water you probably won't do much. You might move the fish mat away. If we get one, might move the fish mat a little bit further away. See how we go. Yeah, so we had the two banks a bit too in line with each other on this side. So what I've done, I've moved them both. So the other one's obviously a lot closer in, and the red is it's like 1.5 meters apart. The current's going this way, so the scent trail slowly, it's a bigger beam of scent going down. The fish are going to come onto dead bait, so the fish are going to be downstream. I'm going to very gently come upstream, probably time their run coincide with I think there's more of a stronger feeding habit as the light starts to go, because it increases their ambush chances for bream and roach and things like that. So there could be a fish who's like hunting further downstream because there's some fish there or whatever. And pike have big nostrils, so their scent, they'd be able to pick up a scent from a dead bait quite a long way off, like a bream when it expires or something like that. So I think they might have that as a plan B in the back of their mind. They'll be staying where they are because that's where they're hunting, and they'll say to themselves, well, I've got a better chance of finding it where there's a bit of light, so they might even just leave it right to the last minute where they can just come up and they know there's a dead bream laying there. Well, that's my dead bait. Just a theory, probably way off, but you've got to you know, try different things. There might be one or two fish already down there. You sort of smell it. They'll either come on it straight away, or they might just park it until the 11th hour and then come and grab it if it's beyond dark. So it's worth staying. It's worth staying a bit in the dark, just to see if there is a fish who knows it's there and is prepared to investigate it. Just a theory. But, right, we're in winter now. I just had a change of the gear last night. I just rigged up some bigger snap tackle, some bigger hooks, put some fresher lines on, put a bit more line on this reel here, some 12 pound, and I've done the same with this reel as well here. I took the braid off it. This reel has actually got a bit of damage to it. This was actually dropped, and we snapped off the alloy which goes in here, you see. So luckily there's an area where you can sort of put a cable tie around it. We whacked it round there and gone in the front, so it's still okay. But that should be good enough just for pike fishing. But that's a brilliant reel. That's a pen spin fisher. I'm not sure which one it is. It's not actually mine, but that's what is it? It's a spin fisher 500. Alarm's going off a bit. And yeah, so got whole tail mackerels out there. And we got this rod. It's just off the bank by a couple of metres that side, and this one's probably pretty much quite about a metre off the bank, maybe 2 metres off the bank, in line where the rod is actually pointing, that sort of area there. So far left rod's been out there probably getting on for 40 minutes, something like that. And this one's probably been out there for about 20 minutes or so. I literally just recast that, so that's not been out there that long at all. But there you are, you know, you just got to sort of it's a slow old process, this dead baiting. It really is. It's not for everybody. Some people like to sort of be active and doing it, but I find I'm active doing the spinning and the wobble and the dead baits early on in the season. For some reason I don't really feel, you know, in the mood to sort of do dead baiting early on. I don't know why that is, but when winter sets in, I mean, I get lazy, I get sort of lethargic, and I suppose the pike do as well, and decide to go for the dead baits. But it's a lazy sort of form of fishing, but it is nice in a way. You can sort of switch off. We've got the base here, look, we've got the sort of the brolly up, just had a rain shower, and we've got the mat and everything sitting there. What I try and do, I always try and cover up my bag with all my hooks in and all this sort of stuff, and food. Keep that out of the way, because you get a lot of dog walkers, and they don't always.
Try and get this one out of him. Hello chaps. Right, beautiful sunset, beautiful. Alright, but we have a problem. Now this river usually has quite a lot of ebb and flow, and on this particular river it's good to fish on the ebb. Okay, now we haven't got any flow at all when we should have. The reasons being we've got a big wind in the North Sea, northerly wind pushing all this water down, and it's increasing the like the tides in the actual rivers. Okay, so what actually happens is it's sort of the brackish water comes back up the river and it sort of nullifies the ebb, or reduces it by half or a third or something like that. So what we're actually getting is this phenomenon where there's actually no float. Now my theory is, and when I've caught some pike and got some runs from this tricky water, is when there's a good ebb and flow. Let's say your baits are out there and the oils from that gets carried down this bank here, maybe, you know, for forever, and it's got a big scent trail. Okay, now that's what one thing which works in your favour, I believe. Also, when the current's moving, the fish are having to stay active, and the pike are having to stay active as well, because they've got this current to deal with as well. So they're going to burn up their food quick, and they're going to be hungry. All right, so you've got a scent trail for them, and also the fact that they're hungry. So when you take that away, something outside takes that away, like a big wind and bigger tides than usual because of the northerly wind. Well, then you get a situation where the pike and the other fish, they don't need to work so hard. They're not working against this current or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's harder. It's going to be harder for these pike to locate your dead baits. So you've either got to get one which has happened to sort of digested all his food and he's in the area and he happens to smell it and he's not too far away from it and smell it. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, it makes it can, I can just sense it. It makes your life more difficult. So you know, one day you can come here and you can get a run and you think, oh, you know, but it's today, because of something external like that wind, that changes the whole dynamics completely. So you know, you can see how tricky it can be sometimes to get all the factors to come right together. So this picture is sort of slowly built on me as I've been sort of just looking at it, and sort of, you know, because I was on Windy last night, and a few anglers who I bumped in today, we've all sort of said the same thing. We've all sort of said, there's don't seem to be a lot of flow today. Why is that? And it's because of that bloody wind. So, you know, you can think, you change your tackle, you can do all these little things, but there's lots of little factors which can, you know, is a hurdle for it. It's not a gospel that you're not going to get one, but you can just sense that you're, it makes life a little bit more difficult for you. And sometimes when you're after these bigger fish, that's all it is to sort of, you know, so yeah, it's very frustrating actually. But we're going to stick it out until, I don't know, probably have an hour in the dark, and we're just going to stick it out. You know what, for today my peak time is, what's the time now? We're still an hour away from when I think I might have a good chance to get one today, but I've got a sneaky suspicion that sort of the lack of current in this river at the minute is enough to sort of, you know, for us to struggle today. I'm probably going to blank, but that comes with the territory. That comes with the territory. It doesn't matter. It's like, you know, sooner rather be out here trying than not. Yeah, so there you are guys. Oh. Hello chaps, here we are again. Haven't really got a lot to say other than, you know, as expected, it's quiet. Just got here, just rigged up, just put them out. The only thing which I would say is holding me back right now is that we've got, this is a Sunday, you do get, as it's winter, there's not so much boat traffic, but you do get a bit, and it's just prevented me from fishing the other side of the bank. I've got both dead baits pulled this side, and the current's running this way, so in theory with a mackerel, the scent is getting carried down, and you're going to increase your chances if you, obviously if you have your baits sort of spread further apart. So what I've got on both this side because of the boat, but they're just apart from each other, so they increase their scent band, or instead of just having one scent going down there, you've probably got sort of a metre apart. So you've got a sort of a metre trail, so just having one dead bait and just one trail going down. So here we are, fellas. We're at a new fishing spot, and we're in a boat dike at the minute, and we're just seen a few roach being caught further down, and we've had a few splashes out here. There's guys in some boats there, some fancy floats, and they've got a nice boat over there, not too far away. Another chap pike fishing just there. There's still water behind us, but we'll go into that a bit later. And this is the boat dike, so hopefully there'll be one in here. And we've got joey mackerel on just down here at the minute, but I'm probably going to put another one just off this boat, off just around this area here, just fishing tight to this side because we might get some boats coming through. Just keep an eye on the line. Hello people. Right, so I drove up here this morning. It's a place where I usually come quite a few times. They closed the gate to the car park, to the main car park. So you can imagine you rock up, nowhere to park, you have that sort of, surprise sort of thing. Anyway, managed to find somewhere to park, just on the side of the road. Got my gear, walked up, got to where I wanted to fish, and realised I left the GoPro and the battery inside the glove compartment. Always the same. As soon as whenever there's a surprise or something, an element of something unexpected, always manage to sort of that's your best chance of losing something then, or forgetting something. Sorry then. So anyway, got packed all my gear. Can't leave the stuff there because it could get pinched or whatever. So I picked all my gear up, walk all the way back. Right, get the GoPro, get the battery, walk back up to my spot where I left, I think, a bottle of drink. But walking back, I spotted some match anglers, and they were caught a roach, and they're back on the feed again, and they all got the keep nets in there. So there's a lot of roach in this boat dike. And I was walking up here, pike splashed. I think it was a pike anyway. Could have been a grebe or something, but I'm pretty sure I saw a tail. It was definitely a fish, just off this boat here. So there's obviously going to be some pike in here. So what we're doing, we're just baiting off this point area here, and I've got another one just down there. Try luck, and to be honest with you, that pike fishing is all fishing is like that. It's where you sort of you see some activity, and that changes your mindset of where you need to be positioned. As where when I first got here, I go to where I usually go, sit there all day, be lucky to get something. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I'll be honest with you, this season, if you're going to get something, that'll be on a dead bait. That'll be within here. There's either an otter or something just jumping out of the water over there, next to the sheep islands. Yeah, I'm just trying to think what I was saying. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Someone's coughing against something. You must have coronavirus over there. I know some people are funny, aren't they? When you sort of move into a spot and you're blocking them in a bit. I think he's having a smoke and he's sort of coughing. It's pretty decent quality competition. That other angler's coughing. Disgusting. I'd say that angler over there, I'd say he's got the virus because he just keeps coughing and spluttering and I feel like just going over there and saying fuck off and die. It just ruins your bloody fishing. You're trying to the peace and tranquility. He stopped now, funny enough. So, yeah, you just want a bit of peace when you go fishing. Yeah, he's coughing again, but grabby cunt.
Yeah, so another fish splashed over that area there. So we'll see. We will see. We'll see. Bon appetit. Chucked a bloody chair in there or something. Something broken. Anyway, this is where we're fishing. And I've just moved. I've been over there about an hour and a half. Nothing. Some other people turned up. And, I don't know. That's very exposed in that spot. I like a bit of privacy when I'm fishing. Anyway, so we got pike rod. And we've got the herring. It's about a rod length out. So we've got one there. I'm now going to rig up this other one. We're going to, I don't know, chuck it back this way. Probably. How many? Go back a bit. Chuck it down right by the reed's edge. We'll do that. We'll put it there. Well, he's bloody cold. That's all I can say. Oh, bloody freezing. So here we are, nothing's much changed. We've still got them in the same place. There's one down here and there's one in the middle there, not too far out. We're just waiting. Just wait and see if something will happen. Hope so. Right, here we are again. So dead baiting again. And we've got Joey mackerel out in the middle, and we've got herring a bit further over. So just the same sort of tactics, same sort of place. Just seeing if we can pick up another one. Just had a gentleman, just old boy, just walked down here with his dog. His dog, this little tiny little thing, I don't know what the hell it was, comes flying round here. He stuck his nose in my bag where my lunch was, right? I've got all fucking traces and stuff in there. Dog went on a lead. And I went to the dog, I went like that, and he sort of spooked him. He went flying back, he fell into my rod, the alarm goes off, so he starts going into the market there. And it's like, you position yourself out of the way to get away from dogs and things like this, and that just seems to find you. So anyway, this bloke and the dog went to up the end here, and this is only a bit petty, but he came back and the dog comes straight up to me and he starts barking at me again. I'm like to the dude, I'm like, you know, if you put your dog on a fucking lead, I said, we won't have these sort of problems. I said, I've got hooks all and stuff in here. If I get a hook in the bloody dog, I'll never hear the end of it, would I? You know, I know it's only a bit petty, but you sort of, you know, he comes over and he goes to me, after dog's been barking to me again, he goes, have I caught anything? And I go, no. And he goes, pardon. So I screamed at him. I said, mate, no, fuck off. Well, I didn't say fuck off, but do you know what I'm saying? It's just people, you know, they let their fucking dogs shit everywhere. There's all dog shit down there. Some people don't clear up after their dogs. And sometimes that just, I know it's a little bit petty, but sometimes, you know, you just want a bit of peace and quiet, and you want people just to sort of, you know, keep control of your fucking dog. You know, if that was me, I would have put the dog on the lead over there because of what had happened here. And then when I walked past, because I know the dog might have kicked, I'd know my dog. Do you know what I'm saying? But some of these people, they don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's the trouble when you fish these public rivers. You know, it's not a day ticket or a syndicate or anything like that where you've just got, you know, like-minded people. You're dealing with boat owners, you're dealing with members of the public. So, okay, you haven't got to pay, but there is a whole host of other sort of things which can fuck up your fishing, basically. And it's like, that takes a bit, you've got to have a bit of tolerance, you know, and it's like, I try and, when I'm fishing these, I really do have my blinkers on when I'm fishing these sort of places. You do have to be quite firm with members of the public sometimes. You'd have to sort of just, you know, otherwise they just want to talk a load of shit to you. You might even get a drunk down here, you don't know. It's like, you know, it's quite a sort of, some good fish to be caught here as well, so that's why I'm here. So you really do have to sort of weigh up, you know, you've got to try and not get, I mean, the other day I had another angler and he just cast, he was coming alongside me, he didn't know I was here, he just cast his gear over mine. But his mate had already checked out that there was somebody fishing in here, but his mate didn't even bother telling his mate that there's some guy was fishing with his lines here, you see. See, I don't fish with a float here, because if you fish with a float, your line's up high in the water, and if a boat comes past, you've got to wind your dead baits in. But if you like free line, or just go on an optonic, bite alarm, whatever you want to call it, and stray line for them, do you know what I'm saying? If a boat comes past, you can still keep your dead baits down. So, you know, there's a whole host of other factors. You find the battle is more to do in these sort of places. It's keeping your head with regards to members of the public, other anglers, boat owners, sups, kayaks, things like that. There's you're fighting. You've got to keep that under control, as well as trying to you know, catch a good fish. You know, heavens forbid if you've got a good fish on and there's a boat comes past. My God. So you need a little bit, you need a lot of luck. Sorry it's a bit of a rant, but I just, fucking people, that's all I got to say. Sorry if I come across a bit of a whinger, but there you go. After all, we are nicknamed Whinging Poms. Alright, see you guys.
Yeah, so there's lots of flow now. When we first got here, there wasn't a lot of flow. But now, even close into this bank this side, this really hossing through here now, and in the middle where my baits are, there's some good flow there too. But on the far bank, ever so slightly, still some good flow over there, and good enough. But I've got my baits in the middle for this next hour and a half or whatever. You know, you could get one down right in front of us here, you could get one in the middle, you can get one right over there. But it's all luck. It's been a lot of boat traffic today, so it's difficult with the lines and floats and things like that, so I've just brought them back halfway. And you know, we've got joey mackerel on, we've got whole herring, so it really is a luck game. Nothing more than that. You know, you just got to be in it to win it, and you know, expect the you know, expect to blank. You know, you're not going to rock up and fish this kind of water and you know, you're going to pull a big one out every single time you turn up. That just doesn't work like that. That's as simple as that. You've got to be prepared to take the blows, and if you just persist with it, you can get rewarded. There is some seriously good fish in this place, and yeah, 10 miles from my house, so I'm very lucky. These boats are a pain in the ass. Fish on. Ah, it's just come off. It's just come off. Bastard! Son of a bitch. Fuck it. He's just come off. Fucking bastard. Fat lady saying